Hello, this is Dean Phoenix back with episode 11 of my Bioshock Infinite 1999 mode walkthrough, following along as if we were going to get the scavenger hunt achievement for not buying anything from a double bill machine. So last episode we got up to the graveyard where we were about to take on Lady Comstock, and for some reason, even though this has been around for ages, people don't seem to know the best tactics for it a lot of the time. People are like, oh yeah, you gotta stay back and snipe, and she's really difficult and all that stuff. No. So you see, for weapons I've got the repeater, which I have a bunch of upgrades for, but you can use the volley gun, the shotgun, whatever else. And there's a hailfire right outside this area, and so you can pick that up as well even if you've not got any upgrades. It's really good and it can pile on a load of damage. You can just fire off those 5 shots straight away. So what you want is either electric punch or preferably burning halo. We want blood to salt and brittle skinned as the pants. That's really good, that doubles the damage for melee attacks after meleeing someone. And then overkill, and all you do is you get charge, and we have the charge assist as part of that. Charge up, and then when her health bar appears, that's when she's vulnerable, and then smash into her, shoot the hailfire, 5 shots of the hailfire, and then whatever else strong close range weapon you've got, just keep doing charge and repeating. And yes, this is on 1999 mode, just in case you were wondering, because that would have made it look like it's so easy that maybe it wasn't, but it definitely is. So yeah, and then that's how quickly she goes down. So you literally just charge with charge aid, which grants you a brief invulnerability, recharges your shield, and then smash into her and do all that stuff. And brittle skin means she takes loads of damage. Burning halo procs the charge and fire, devil's kiss combination there as well. So there's a bunch of other stuff that was just running around the graveyard showing. There are medical kit tears in case you need those, and there was that piece of gear that you can get afterwards, throwing devil's kiss at the 2 torches to open that area. So then as you're leaving, the lutesses tell you that you need to find the 3 tears, which is the next section of the game, this last part of downtown Emporia. So what you have to do is you have to find the 3 tears, and you have to fight Lady Comstock 2 more times, and you also have to fight a bunch of little encounters as well. So heading around this way first, we are going to head along, and basically there's quite a few salt pickups and things. Well, there's 1 or 2 salt pickups around the graveyard where Lady Comstock was, so you can get your salts back there as well. And then you can switch to whatever you want for here. I've gone back to Sheltered Life because that's my preferred hat gear, but you can stick with Burning Halo whilst we've got this sort of melee build that we've been using for a lot of the time. And there'll be a bunch of Vox people with repeaters guarding this tear, and these can be pretty dangerous as well. So you can hang back and snipe, and I think there's a tear up at the top right you just saw that you could use with the Winter Shield, or you could just stick with charge because it's insanely busted with charge aid, and especially with Brittle Skinned. And you see here I'm using the repeater, which is why I got the upgrades for the repeater, because it's an absolute monster and they use it as well. So there we take out all of those enemies, and they don't have they didn't cost us any salts and didn't cost us even any ammo because we've filled up on repeater ammo from killing them afterwards. Make sure that when you're doing this bit in the house, there's a few wallets and things to grab. There's also an infusion, which, because we've got salts and health maxed already, salts and shield maxed already, we'll continue putting into health. There are also quite a few tears, so use extra as the hat gear, including there is a Vox phone, sorry, I meant Vox phones. There is a Vox phone that appears right after you've used the tear. It appears after you've used the tear where the tear is, so make sure you grab that one. Heading back round this way, there are a couple of the beasts, which are the really hard-hitting enemies with the hailfire as their weapon, and you can see there he does a ton of damage. So you can use either Undertow to drag them down and kill them with something else, or you can just use possession, and they'll just suicide themselves afterwards, like that. So there's 2 of those, 1 up at each side. Make sure you take those out. And then there is another tear just here off this area here. This will now be open. It wasn't before, but this access to picking this lock will be there. And again, you can switch to extra. There's a Vox phone or 2 in there. Then you head back to where the first part of this downtown Emporia. And you'll notice there are some crows hanging about now, and these big bodies, this big pile of bodies, and a gun automaton and things like that. So I would use the gun automaton tear. There are quite a few crows and other enemies, so I like to use booking Bronco versus those because it incapacitates them and it's really good against crows. And then these enemies will all come out, and because they're all together, you can again use something like booking Bronco before they all sort of disperse and start causing problems, or you can just use crows to incapacitate them or anything like that. So a bunch of stuff you can do here. So take them out in whichever way you would take out non-enemies. So after you've taken those out, the last one of this sort of wave preventing you from getting into the bank is a fireman, and again you can just kill him with booking Bronco or however you want, but my preferred method is just to undertow and then shock jockey for the really powerful combination, and then the gun automaton and whatever else you want to use can finish him off. And you can see there he didn't even get an attack off. And then just loot all of these bodies because they have a ton of stuff on, and if the tear up at the top of the area still has volley gun ammo and you're using the volley gun, it's my favourite weapon, so again I've been recommending the upgrades for that. Then you can try and fill up on that before you go into the Bank of the Prophet. So the Bank of the Prophet has a couple of areas of enemies in. If you don't possess that machine, the dollar bill machine, you can get the drop on the enemies first and then possess it later. So just try and kill as many of them as possible. The sort of Vox women enemies, those type of enemies, they have the hand cannon, so they can be pretty dangerous, but you can still possess them, and so they'll do a good amount of damage to the other Vox, and then you can just kill the rest of them. This is a fantastic area for looting, so make sure, absolutely sure, that you loot all of this stuff. There's at least one safe as well, but there's a ton of money to pick up. I mean, it's a bank, so it makes sense, but make sure that you you know, are getting all of this money, because you literally get like a couple, maybe a couple of thousand, at least 1,000 crowns, silver eagles I would say, over the course of this. So yeah, there's a piece of gear here, lockpicks, ton of stuff to pick up. This is the door to the left at the end of that first chamber, and if we picked up the code book in the bank, if you see the for the bank, sorry, the Vox code book cipher, which you'll see in the last episode covered there, then you can unlock this area, and it has a bunch of good stuff, and a burst gun, which is terrible, but yeah, really good bunch of good stuff in there. Lockpicks, if you're short of lockpicks for any reason, there's loads of places to use lockpicks, so if you've used all of those up whilst exploring Emporia, you can get that. And there's also an infusion, which again puts health. So this area here, if you have the sniper rifle, you can hang back and snipe. If you've got undertow, you can use that, which is absolutely godlike. I love that. And you've still got return to sender if you need to take out a couple of enemies. So you can see here, I just sniped this guy, and then a sniper turns up, as you can see from that shot there. Now, I actually didn't keep return to sender up long enough, because I missed the shot against him and take a lot of damage. So you can do it that way, but like so you see there, I took a chunk of damage there. So either use return to sender and snipe him, or use undertow and drag him forward again, and then just carry on. Again, bunch of money to pick up, loads of things to pick up here, should be able to fill your health up. Make sure you don't miss this gear, even if you've got all the other pieces of gear from doing the gear farming trick that I showed earlier on in the walkthrough. This one is a fixed piece of gear, Spectral Sidekick, and whilst it does have quite specific use, it can be very useful for Comstock House, so make sure you pick that up. You always want to pick up unique gear, even there's no cost to doing so anyway. Then there's a crow. It's a very tough crow actually. He's got a lot of health, and there's a repeater that you can grab, so you may want to use that on him, because if you've got the second damage upgrade particularly, it does a lot of damage, and it's quite useful, and you can always stock up on ammo for it again. So you see there, I dropped my sniper rifle and used that to kill him. And then again, when you've used this tear, make sure that you grab the voxophone that appears there. There's also a couple of safes and things to grab around there. After that, we've got another encounter with Lady Comstock. So again, we want Burning Halo, which I forgot to re-equip here. I left extra on, so just to show you, it's still easily doable with that. So Brittle Skinned, Charge and Charge Aid are the main thing. You can see that when she's flat glowing red, that's from Brittle Skinned. And even so, without having Burning Halo to proc the charge and Devil's Kiss combination, which is what it'll normally do, because there's a 70% chance of setting enemies on fire, this combination is extremely powerful. So even if she goes up to the balcony, you can use charge to follow them up if you want, but with Blood to Salt you should have enough salts and things to be able to charge her a couple of times and take her out. And again, with the repeater or whatever powerful weapon like volley gun, I didn't even have to use, or the shotgun or the hailfire, if you've got any of those, she goes down absolutely no problem. Now you're sensing a theme here. The last thing we've got to do after we've got the 3 tears, the truth of the tears, is to face her one more time. So again, she comes out, but we're just going to use Burning Halo and Brittle Skinned and Charge because it's godlike, and then smash into her a few times. It's time to use the volley gun. Bang! Down she goes. Get out of it. Get out of my face. She takes like 15 to 20 seconds. This is all on 1999. And if you don't believe me, try it yourself. It's that easy. And this is why I've been saying through the whole walkthrough, Charge Aid is godlike, because it does that to her just like it does to normal enemies, and particularly with Blood to Salt, which is why we made sure all the way back in Battleship Bay to reset for Blood to Salt, because it's such an amazing piece of gear that you don't want to leave that to random chance. And as long as you've got that and Winter Shield, then a lot of things can be a ton easier. So that is how you beat Lady Comstock. Now, the last part, I actually spent about 5 or 10 minutes running around Emporia and making sure that I had full health, full salts, pick up as much ammo for everything as you can, because Comstock House is a weird part of the game. I don't like it. It's my least favourite part of the game, and it can be like a pain in the neck. And the Boys of Silence enemies set a horde of melee like enemies on you, and there aren't a lot of ammo pickups and stuff relative to the rest of the game. And then the sort of guards and enemies use hand cannons, and they're quite dangerous. So make sure that you take as much ammo as possible with you. I took and there aren't many repeaters around either, so I took the volley gun, made sure that I had max ammo for that, just from scavenging. Didn't use the dollar bill machines or anything, so no need for that. So I made sure that I had that. And I believe I also got the shotgun, which is very easy to get the 2 damage upgrades for, because you get Comstock's broom already, and then the damage boost 2 is very cheap. So came back here, make sure that I used up the rest of that volley gun tear, and then some of the people that Lady Comstock brings through at the gates to Comstock House in that last fight are volley gunners as well, so I was able to fill up on that, and also took the shotgun. If you want to buy any more upgrades, if you've got some money to spare, the shock duration aid is a really good one, and you don't have any machines to buy upgrades for, so make sure that if there's anything crucial you want, you do get those as well. So you can see here I've got absolutely tons of money after the bank. But again, I had done a lot of the gear farming, so even if you've not done as much of that earlier in the game with the repeatable checkpoint and the gear farming bit that I covered in an earlier episode, you should have all your sort of core upgrades, but do definitely, I would say, try and get the shotgun damage boost 2, and that only costs 255 silver eagles and can be quite useful for Comstock House. So yeah, volley gun and shotgun, that was how we destroy Lady Comstock. And if you found that useful, which hopefully you did, please like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you all for the next episode, and thank you for watching.